We're taking you live to Launceston in Tasmania, where Prime Minister Anthony Albanese is speaking.
Is because they have nowhere to go. Now, the National Cabinet just a week ago signed off on the extension of creating permanently a leaving violence payment to provide that immediate financial resources. What this is about is providing the housing resources. So $1 billion, which will be over $700 million of that, will be in grants to organisations to be able to provide that emergency funding or to provide appropriate housing so people have somewhere to go. $1 billion in addition to that will be provided for infrastructure, of which 25% can be used by states and territories for new housing associated with that new infrastructure. Quite often one of the impediments to building more social housing is access to water, energy, basic infrastructure to enable construction to go ahead, or to allow for refurbishment in appropriate facilities. The $1 billion will make a difference there as well and will be available from July 1. In addition to that, we have $9.3 billion as part of an agreement with states and territories over 5 years for our housing and homelessness agreement. This will provide for the essential work for states and territories to expand the supply of social housing. In addition to that, of course, we've already had the $2 billion social housing accelerator, the build to rent scheme, the help to buy scheme that's currently stuck in the Senate due to the intransigence of the coalition of naysayers in the Liberals, Greens and the National Party. But we want that carried as well. We had the Housing Australia Future Fund of $10 billion that finally was passed after being delayed by the coalition of Liberals, Nationals and Greens for far too long. But that is now in place and that is now making a difference. So these three measures, $9.3 billion for a housing and homelessness agreement, $1 billion for new infrastructure to assist with social housing, and $1 billion to be available for emergency housing and shelter for women and children escaping domestic violence. Together, these measures make a substantial contribution going forward. We'll continue to work with state and territory governments, continue to work across the board to make a difference. And Julie Collins is doing quite an extraordinary job. A great Tasmanian doing a great job, not just for Tasmania, but the whole country in delivering good, solid housing policy after a decade of neglect from the former government. Can I also make some comments while I've got you about infrastructure here in Tasmania? Next week's budget will deliver $219 million for Tasmanian roads. More than half of that is for new projects, including the Lyell Highway from Granton to New Norfolk, the Huon Highway corridor upgrades and planning along the Devonport to Cradle Mountain and Arthur Highway corridors. $95 million will be to existing projects to make sure they can actually be delivered. Now, this improves on our $2 billion investments that we've allocated to 35 different road and rail projects here in Tasmania. What these two announcements will do, new housing and new road infrastructure here in Tasmania, is to create jobs during construction, but also to improve the livability here in Tasmania. They're a part of our commitment to delivering for the whole nation, including here in Launceston, but right around this great state of Tasmania. And I'm really looking forward to Tuesday night's budget, which will have at its heart the three principles of cost of living relief, including through a tax decrease for every single Tasmanian taxpayer. Not just some, but everyone getting a tax cut in Tuesday night's budget. Secondly, to have further cost of living support that puts that downward pressure on inflation. And thirdly, a future made in Australia, support here for construction support here for making more things here in Australia, including, of course, the opportunity that's here in Tasmania in areas that it excels at, in the agriculture sector, in the maritime sector, in so many areas as well. Tasmania has a bright future if we're prepared to put in place the policies that enable a seizing of that future.